So, first of all, tell everybody your name.
My name is Joy Erb, and I live in Pismo Beach, California.
And your story is about?
My story is about how we had the mumps. And in 2007, we went to visit Brazil because we lived there earlier for 5 years. And so we came back to California in 2005. So after 2 years, 2007, we thought we'd go visit our friends. And this was the age of my kids at that time. And this is my daughter Katie, who was vaccinated until 2 years old, but this is Austin and Cameron, and they had no vaccines on this trip to Brazil.
Let me just show.
You can hold it where it is.
Can they see it?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, you mean we are vaxxed?
We are vaxxed, can't see it. We've got to look after we are vaxxed.
So those are two unvaccinated little boys, breastfed and super healthy.
So cute.
So that was in 2007, and
so how many were you vaccinating them on schedule, or?
Well, my daughter, we were vaccinating her on schedule until 2 years old, because when we lived in Brazil, I had this wonderful OB, and he said, please don't vaccinate your children, your baby. So Austin was born in Brazil in 2003, and he said, please don't vaccinate your baby after this wonderful, home birth that we had. Kind of clinic birth at his clinic. And I said, you're kidding me. I've always vaccinated. You're going to have to give me a book or some information. And so he gave me a book, which I can't remember the name, but he told me Mercola.com. And so I just started reading, I just started reading everything I could. And so I felt comfortable not vaccinating at that point and just building my kids' immune system with healthy nutrition and sunlight. And so my two little guys at that time weren't vaccinated. So we traveled to Brazil. Nobody required us to get any vaccines to travel. And we came back in that year from that trip, and this guy had a little fever for about 5 days, and he was so chubby that we didn't realize that he had the mumps. So he was nursing. He was uncomfortable and had a fever for about 5 days, and then it went away. And at that point, our friends in Brazil emailed us and said, we've got the mumps, watch out, and about 3 days later, Austin, the 4-year-old, comes out with the fever and the big cheeks. And then 2 days after that, my husband John gets the big cheeks and the fever.
Because the mumps in the older ones are supposed to be really ghastly.
Well, that was our whole lesson from this experience, because my husband John was 35 at that time when he got it, and he had 2 booster shots, MMR booster shots, in his 20s.
Really?
Yes. So because he did overseas travel and mission trips.
So that doesn't work.
So that didn't work. And our younger boys, of course, didn't have any vaccines, so they got it straight away. And I just wonder if it wasn't that strain of mumps that was just taken down to South America in the vaccine trucks, because they have vaccine trucks down there, like ice cream trucks, and they play music.
Well,
and
are we in Brazil?
Yes.
So tell me about it. I don't know about this. Tell me.
In Brazil, well, in the movie Vaxxed, it showed the MMR that was taken to the UK and then taken to South America. And
but the ice cream Vax trucks.
Yes. So they have trucks that are going around with music and a megaphone and just shouting, "Come get your vaccines!"
And do they pay for them, or are they free, the vaccines in Brazil?
I don't know. I never got a vaccine from the truck, because our pediatrician at the time, who was a homeopath there, she said never get a vaccine from the vaccine truck. They're not good. They're not.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
It's awful. Poor Brazil.
Yeah. So, my husband at the time, he was vaccinated, got the mumps, and he was in bed for 2 weeks, and he was out of work for 2 weeks, and extreme pressure from my extended family. He could be infertile, and they were just very angry with me.
What are you supposed to do about it? He had both 2 MMRs. He did as he was told.
Well, exactly.
And now he's got mumps. No point screaming at you.
Exactly.
So
and I got pregnant 3 times after that.
Okay, she got pregnant 3 times after that. That
So
answers that one, people.
Yeah. So, and the 4-year-old. So the baby, we didn't even know had the mumps. It was that mild for a fully breastfed baby. The 4-year-old, he had the mumps, and he was uncomfortable for about 2 days with the fever. And then he was like, just playing and bouncing off the walls as we just waited for the cheeks to go down, and he was better about 7 or 8 days later. And so our whole family takeaway from that experience was, it's much better to get the mumps as a child and gain your lifetime immunity than to get it as an adult.
And that's why we used to have mumps parties.
Right.
Thank you for that story. That was really interesting, and I'm glad because obviously the media tell us that it's such a we're all going to die if we get the mumps.
Yep.
Brilliant. So, would you ever put a vaccine in yourself or your children ever again?
No.
Would you recommend for the new mother?
I would never. No. I mean, if you look at the ingredient list, if each one of the ingredients is cancer causing, neurotoxic, how can you combine them together and maybe distill them or heat them up or mix them up a little bit and think that they're going to be healthy at that point? And I'm listening to a book by Judy Mikovits about retroviruses and just how there's so many things in vaccines that we don't even know. Retroviruses from passing through the mice or whatever animals they use. So it's really scary stuff. And we have a wonderful private school here in California that I love, but I'm not going to give my child the 30-some vaccines he needs to go into 7th grade in 2 years. So that's why we're fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll keep fighting. Because
that's right.
You don't know if that vaccine is going to have your child's picture on my wall or on the outside of the
That's right. And I will say, these two, so I had so much pressure about the mumps, even though I felt strong. These two were unvaccinated until I came back, and I decided to get them a tetanus shot because they had stitches. Both within 1 month, they fell and had stitches, and I felt like I'm going to get pressured to get the DPT, and I had read about the DPT and the DTP, and I had read that there was a lot of vaccine injury with that, and my Brazilian doctor, he was okay with the tetanus shot. And so what doctors say is so influential, even if they say don't do it or I'm okay with it. Doctors are so influential, and I had wished I had done more research, but I went and ordered a thimerosal-free tetanus shot for both my boys in about 2008. And after that, the little guy, he got asthma, and he still has asthma. So, and he has a milk allergy, cow dairy allergy. And just reading this summer that tetanus is made on cow milk proteins.
This is shocking. There is
kind
no
of
safe vaccine, people, and doctors, I'm sorry, but you are bullies. Stop. Right, thank you so much.
Thank
it was
you.
fun talking to you. And Periscope, we've got more stories. We are back. Stay with us.